Hey everybody, welcome to the Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got ourselves a box of Ixalan. We're going to crack this box open, and really cool little thing I just noticed, they've got the official Magic 25 years logo going. We're going to crack this box open and see what's in it. We're not going to be going through every single card. We're going to, of course, look at what the rares are, go over the value. Is it the best way of using a box? Absolutely not. Is it fun? Yes. Now, just before I open that, let's go and check out the Buy a Box pack that I got. So if you buy a box of Ixalan while supplies last, you get one of these packs, which has 4 rares in it from Standard. So my box, or my Buy a Box pack, had Glacial Fortress, Fumigate, Glorybound Initiate, and yet another white card, Adorned Pouncer. They're not supposed to be color themed like that, but this one was. You also get 2 of any foils. I got a foil Trophy Mage and a foil Armorback Colossus, and you get 2 foil Rebecca Gaylands. This is a very cool little promo that they're doing. It massively increases the Buy a Box promo, which used to be just 1 promo. Now you get that promo plus this pack, which has another copy of that promo in it. For some weird reason, I wouldn't expect that to continue. But somebody at our store actually pulled a foil Nicol Bolas in theirs as one of their foils, so the foils can absolutely be rares. So they actually got 5 rares in theirs. Very cool little bonus and a fun little lottery. But let's go to the actual box now. So there are, of course, a lot of cube staples that I'm hoping to open up in here. Definitely want some copies of Ixalan, of course. A lot of the flip cards would actually be really fun in my cube, I think. And of course, stuff to maybe get into Standard now the rotation has happened. I don't know if I will, but we'll see what we get. But let's start. Up first, we've got ourselves a Mythic, but it's unfortunately terrible. Overflowing Insight. I am not sure where you would ever play this. You need to cheat it out. You're just not going to be getting 4 blue, blue, blue too often. If you can untap after this, you probably do pretty well, but I don't know anywhere that I'd ever play that card. Let's hope our other Mythics are maybe a little bit better. We got a flip card. We got Conqueror's Galleon, definitely a card I want for my cube. Definitely want to try this out in draft. I've heard some initial suggestions that it's not actually that great in draft. It's a little bit too hard to crew for, etc. And I can maybe see that. But the backside of the card is just so good, just spending all your mana. And I have made this a slow format. Go back and check my Twitch video for a blue-black control deck where we went to turn 22. Up next, we've got ourselves Emperor's Vanguard. Another card that I was having pretty high hopes for in Limited that I've heard kind of not great things about. Apparently, it's just too hard to hit with it, and I can see that. Maybe in like a blue-green deck, you could throw one with the wind on this guy, and then it becomes terrifying. I'm certainly going to still first pick it and try it. It's really... The art really pops on that. I'm not sure if this is like a glossier printing or something, but it looks really, really nice. But I'll definitely give it a try just to get some personal experience with it if I see it. Up next, we get ourselves Admiral Beckett Brass. Definitely a card that I'd like to try out in cube. Might even get a mini Pirates theme going in my cube. We'll have to see. But Admiral Beckett Brass looks great. And again, the art... The colors just look great on this card. I'm not sure if that's showing up on camera or not, but I'm not sure if printing's changed, but the colors look great on these cards. Good job, Wizards. Up next, haven't got a foil yet. We get ourselves a Settle the Wreckage. I played with this in pre-release, and it's just as good as I expected. Yeah, you give your opponent lands, but... you kill their bombs or you kill most if not all of their team, you're going to be pretty far ahead. Up next, I'd really like a Vraska. Vraska is just so good. Up next, we get a Fathom Fleet Captain. If I'm going to be doing a Pirates theme, then Fathom Fleet Captain is definitely an include in the cube. Just tons of value off Fathom Fleet Captain. I can't wait to play with this in draft. I played beside somebody playing it in draft, and it looks really, really good. Let's get a foil. What are the odds of a foil? Foil's what, like 1 in every 6 packs? Hey, we got a foil. It's a basic land. Big whoop. And we got a Deep Root Champion. I had a chance to take this card, and I passed on it. Somebody picked it up, and it just never really did that good of a job. I don't care for it. It's too much work to make this really more than a 3/3, in which case, good job. You got a 2-mana 3/3. Yay. Work a lot better if it was a blue-red card. Another foil. It's just a dive down. Nothing terribly fancy. And we got the It's Coming card, Priest of the Wakening Sun. Definitely want to give that a try in draft at some point. In Dinosaurs, I think it's just value all around. Not an amazing card. I'm not first picking it ever, but once it comes around kind of mid-pack and I'm looking like I'm in Dinosaurs, picking that up for sure. Well, we're missing on value so far, other than I think Admiral Beckett Brass. Another foil. That's what I get for saying we got no foils. It is Favorable Winds. Not a great foiling. Not sure how much of that's coming across, but the foiling is basically across the entire card. There's no highlights. There's no shinier spots at all. Disappointing. The rare is not disappointing. It's a Hostage Taker, which is worth like 15 bucks or something ludicrous right now. Great card. I'm sure it's going to be huge in a blue-black control standard deck. Really, really, really like Hostage Taker. It's my second Hostage Taker so far, actually, in my Ixalan packs. Up next, we get another Mythic, and it's another of the bad ones. Rowdy Crew. Not terribly exciting at all. As I said, it's just way too Hearthstone-y. Even looks like they're playing Hearthstone or something on the art. What are they doing on the art? They're sitting at a table. They're probably Hearthstone characters. I don't like this card. I'm not playing this card. Well, no. Correction. I would play the card. I would absolutely play the card. But it is nowhere near a high pick for me. Do not plan on it being a 5/5. Up next, we've got ourselves Jace. That is our 4th Mythic? That's our 4th Mythic. Hope that doesn't mean the rest of the box is incredibly disappointing. Jace, Cunning Castaway. Definitely really excited to give that a try. And yeah, I've got to say, maybe it's my lighting in here, I don't know, but the colors are really popping on these cards. Up next, we've got ourselves Treasure Map. Treasure Map's a fun card. A card that I think I'd probably include in my cube. It's not huge power, but it just helps you splash. It helps you do everything you want in cube. It makes everything a little bit more consistent to get those scries, and then to get the treasures, and then to use the treasures. Even if there's no support for treasures, the 3 draws, if you don't use them for fixing, is still really good. Up next, we've got ourselves Sword Point Diplomacy, a card that you will never convince me is okay to play. I've seen the arguments, I've seen all the arguments, and I don't agree with them. It's a bad, bad, bad card. Please play it if you want to lose. It's a Punisher card that your opponent's just going to choose the absolute worst choices for you, and them losing 3 and you drawing 2 lands is not worth a card. It's just, it's not good. Don't play it. And yes, I've had it played against me, and I've seen multiple people play it, and it's never been good. Up next is Entrancing Melody, a card that has certainly been good, and I've certainly seen people play. Haven't had a chance just yet, but boy, the fact that I had a pretty successful 2-in-1 blue-black control deck means that I'm going to be first picking this every single time I see it and jumping into some sort of control-y deck where my win condition is your win condition. Up next, we've got ourselves Fell Flagship. Not the best of cards in really any format. If you're in Pirates, you know, you could maybe play this, but Crew 3 for the 3/3 isn't very good. You're really playing this more as like a half Anthem for the Pirates. And, you know, the making a player discard a card isn't really that exciting either. I'm glad ultimately that the vehicles are weak in this set, because otherwise we'd have the nightmare that was Kaladesh and Aether Revolt again, but I'd probably prefer that the vehicles just weren't in the set, period. Up next, we got ourselves a Ruin Raider. Bob the Orc. Pretty good card. Pretty good card. I played against somebody playing this, and it drew them some pretty serious value. Also nearly killed them, and the unfortunate side of this is you have to stop attacking if you're potentially going to kill yourself with Ruin Raiders. So maybe not the best, but as long as you stay ahead on life totals, it'll work pretty good. I think Ruin Raider probably works a little bit better in a Black-White Vampires deck than it does in a Pirates deck, despite being a pirate, but still a cool card that I definitely want to try. Up next, we've got ourselves Verdant Sun's Avatar, a card that I thought was a mythic since Burning Suns and Awakening Suns are, or no, Burning Suns are rare as well. Weird choices on what avatar is mythic and which aren't. Anyways, Verdant Sun's Avatar is, it's just the definition of an okay card. It's not bomby enough for a 7-drop. I've never ever first picking this card unless the pack is like lacking in removal or something. But once I'm in green, it's a fine pickup. And that's what I love about this format. So many cards are like that. They're just good cards that you're not necessarily falling over yourself to get. They're not glory bringers. They're not untethered expresses, etc. And that's making this a format that I'm currently loving. Up next, we've got ourselves Sunbird's Invocation. Kind of disappointing not getting all of our mythics right at the start. Odds are we are not going to see another one. Sunbird's Invocation is a card that is... I've seen it do some work, but you really need to get there. And I'm not sure the red decks are the decks that are going to be getting you to Sunbird's Invocation. So I'm still not really going to be giving this card a try unless I have the literal perfect deck for it. So until then, this just isn't a card that I'm on the lookout for. I definitely want to keep seeing people trying it. I'm just not brave enough to do it myself. Up next, we got Search for Azcanta. Search for Azcanta is a card that I think is fine enough in Limited. You probably just never want to flip it because the backside is just awful in Limited, where you just don't have that many spells. But the front side is fine, and I'm fine to use this as a 2-drop, especially if you're in a little bit more of a control-y deck. The trick, of course, is that you probably want a 2-drop creature in your control-y deck just to hold off the ground a little bit. But given time, this will get you a ton of value. Up next, Tillinolly's Skin Shifter. Not a good card. Not a good card at all. I definitely want to try it at some point, and I'm sure there's going to be amazing stories of this copying ludicrous things, thundering spinebacks and the like, but realistically, the floor is just way too low on this thing. Up next, get ourselves another mythic. And it's a second Rowdy Crew. Yay. Not the mythic that I'd like to repeat. I'd rather have taken another Jace or another Admiral Beckett Brass or a new mythic. But no, we have 2 copies of Rowdy Crew now. But hey, that's 5 mythics. That puts us over the average. That's 6 mythics. That puts us well over the average. Gishath, Sun's Avatar, big old dino boss himself. And again, just the colors on these cards. I hope you guys can see that. The colors look fantastic on these cards. Yeah, Gishath's really cool. I played with him in one of my drafts that I did on stream. Definitely check out that VOD over at twitch.tv/Leek to see me bring out Gishath multiple times. Super, super good card. Let's see if we can do 7 mythics. I'd pretty much bet that's impossible, but let's try for 7 mythics. Instead, we get a Primal Amulet. Not the best card. Not the best card in Limited. In Cube, obviously, if I have a blue-red counterburn, would probably love Primal Amulet, and Primal Wellspring is pretty darn good as well for counterburn. More for the burn than for the counters. But yeah, not a card that you're really going to be playing in this Limited format. Let's have our 6th mythic be a foil mythic. How does that sound? Deadeye Tracker. Not very good at all. The art reminds me of Bounty Hunter from Tempest, maybe Stronghold. And every time I see it, I always just think, oh, it's Bounty Hunter. But it's not. It's Deadeye Tracker, which is much worse than Bounty Hunter. Next up, we got our 6th Mythic. It's Tishana, Voice of Thunder. I'm not crazy. The average number of Mythics in a box is 4, right? Because it's 1 in 8? Yeah, we should be getting like 4-point-something Mythics in a box, but we're at 6 Mythics now with a Tishana, Voice of Thunder. Not a great limited card, unfortunately, but tons of commander playability, etc., I'm sure. Well, let's go for Mythic number 7 in this box. Who needs masterpieces, right? Repeating Barrage, just a really, 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 really good card. This thing gets out of control in limited. If you are even thinking about being in red, don't ever pass a Repeating Barrage. Can you imagine if the 6 Mythics in this box were actually all good ones? Shaper's Sanctuary is our next rare, a card that I think is stone unplayable in the main board in this limited format. And I played against somebody mainboarding it, and they crushed me because I was the Territorial Hammerskull deck, and that card does not say may. You must target something if you attack. Total luck of the draw that he had this card and was paired up against me, but yeah, other than that, I don't think you should ever be playing that card in the main deck. Up next is a Foil Fog. Making fun of me. We got ourselves a Burning Suns avatar to go with our, not Awakening, our Verdant Suns avatar. Solid card. It's in my top probably 5 of the entire set, I think. Just a super, super, super good card. Had to pass one. Had to pass a Burning Suns and Repeating Barrage at my first paper draft of this format. Felt pretty bad. Up next, we've got ourselves Herald of Secret Streams. Yeah, all-star in your blue-green Merfolk deck. If you get some counters on some things, they're gonna be unblockable, and with River Herald's Boon being a common, you can definitely do that to some serious effect. Herald of Secret Streams, pretty darn good. I think I'd first pick it to try to build around it. Maybe fail and end up with a bad deck, but hopefully not. Getting down to the end of the box, we got ourselves our first dual land. I guess I opened enough at pre-release to not have to open any more. Sunpetal Grove. These have been printed to death and back. I have far too many copies of these from the various core sets. Box is definitely getting empty now. Can we get Mythic number 7? Well, we can get a foil Fell Flagship. Not necessarily the foil rare I'd hoped to open, but foil Fell Flagship nonetheless. And a Captivating Crew. Really, really, really good card. Yeah, there's a lot of really good red rares in this format. So if you're open one of them, you're going to be potentially getting more red rares as the draft goes on. All right, I think we're down to like 6 packs or so left. Getting a giant pile of wrappers here. Waker of the Wilds, fantastic green rare right there. Just being able to throw counters on lands as soon as turn 5. Oh, can get out of control, especially if you've got any ramp going on. Just, I desperately, desperately, desperately want to play with a Waker of the Wilds. Real bad. Up next, foil Skymarch Bloodletter. Solid card. Just a really, 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 really solid card. I had a couple of these with a Bishop of Rebirth. They would die, they would come back, they would drain again. It was fantastic. And to go with the vampire theme, we got ourselves a Sanctum Seeker as the rare. Really want to play with this card as well. Would have been fantastic in my black-white vampires deck that I had late Friday night after the green-white terribleness that you'll see tomorrow in our Crack a Draft video. But yeah, Sanctum Seeker. Looks like a fantastic card. Can't wait to try it out. Are we down to 3? We are down to 3. Third last rare. Well, we got a foil Vicious Conquistador, a card that I played against on stream, and it did some work. I think it's more playable than people are giving it credit for. I don't think it's fantastic, though, but it is in foil. Our rare is a Sorcerer's Spyglass, not very good at all. In fact, I would say unplayable and limited. Will this crack into standard? I'm not entirely sure. It's basically Pithing Needle without being Pithing Needle, costing 1 more mana. But yeah, let me know. Is this going to be in standard as like a sideboard tech, or is it just, is 2 mana too much? Second last card. Second last, we get ourselves Kopala. I was going to say it was a mythic for a second, but nope, it's just a rare legendary. Kopala, Warden of Waves. Will this make splashes in Merfolk in Modern? I'm not entirely sure, but in Limited, I think he's just not good. 3 mana, hard to cast, 2/2 that makes your opponent's already relatively limited amount of interaction they have marginally worse. Not worth it. All right, let's see if we can get mythic number 7 out of this box. We didn't get there, but we did get a Growing Rites, so that's almost like a mythic. Yeah, so that was an interesting box. I did not expect to get 6 mythics out of that. I did not expect to get repeat mythics, but we're going to take a look at the value of this box right now. So there we have it. Not necessarily the best value box, but holy mythics, am I right? Unfortunately, they just weren't quite the right mythics. We actually had more valuable rares than we did mythics. But a cool box, tons of stuff for my cube, tons of stuff for a foray into standard and etc. Really happy with the second Hostage Taker getting in my collection. Really happy with a Gishoth and second Growing Rites. Really happy with this box, despite the lack of value in it. Let me know how your boxes went, how your pack openings went, etc. Did you get the awesome foil Growing Rites of Itlimoc, etc.? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at the Mana Leek. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at facebook.com/manaleek, twitch.tv/manaleek, and patreon.com/manaleek, where you can become a sponsor and you know, get a Mana Leek playmat at a point, and all kinds of other rewards if you check that out at varying levels. As always, if you like the content, click that thumbs up button. If you haven't already and you want to see more, click subscribe. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.